Alright, so again, it's a little bit later on in the day after my little tomato tragedy, and first off I want to say I appreciate so much how many of you gave me immediate responses on how I could save that tomato, but that is not the way I chose to go. I figured out something really quick for a tomato trellis, and I'll show you that in a second, and I decided to take some cuttings off of that one that had basically folded over, and I figured maybe we could take a look at those roots, because they're kind of problematic for me right now anyway, because I've got such a shallow bed here that I'm growing these tomatoes in. So let's take a look at some of those things, shall we? So the one staple had held here, so I figured what the heck, I need a quick fix, put 2 more in, and then I just kind of wrapped it around the tomato as best I could up to my center support beam, where I had a handy dandy bowstring kicking around, so why not? Just tie it up and that'll work for now. But look at that, eh? Nice little canopy of tomatoes going on in there. Got some cutting I need to do, but we'll check back on that later. So over here, some candidates. Some of these will end up being whole new tomato plants for me, I'm sure. Not quite sure which ones yet. Gonna have to cut them down. This is obviously a little on the long side, but at the same time, I'm curious. Will the aquaponic garden root it? I don't know. But 1 or 2 more in the corner where I'm pulling this big old stem out. Let's just change the angle for your view on that one. Alright, so for the sake of posterity, let's pull this thing out.
Oh my.
So you can see why these roots have become something of a problem for me, and I'm kind of okay with cutting this guy out. So here again is an example of why I recommend starting with something deeper than a 6-inch grow bed, because it really doesn't leave you a lot of room for the roots to build mass, and when they do develop that inevitable mass, you're going to create a blockage in your bed. This has been a problem for me time and time again, so like I've said in my 3 easy to make mistakes, just go with deeper than 6 inches. I know you're saving money, but you're going to cost yourself so much time. Just buy the deeper beds. Make the deeper beds. 12 inches, that's all I'm saying. But look at that. And a lot of this is new growth from when I moved it. So, alright, I'll just shake these pebbles out a little bit, and we'll get to planting those suckers. Show you how it looks when I've decided which 2 or 3 I'm going to keep. So I'm finally pulling out the green onions that have been in my aquaponic system since February, I think. February or March. Pretty sure it was February. I can't even count how many times we've harvested these things. But look at the bulbs on that. That might as well be an onion by now. It's practically a leek. But it's been in there long enough. I think these ones have worked more than their $1.49 for me. So I'm going to wash those up, and we'll have us some green onions in the near future. Maybe I'll plant some more of them on somewhere else. We'll see. But green onions, gotta love it. So here's one of the peppers, finally doing well. I hope it continues to do well, but I think its roots are right in the way for me. So I'm going to put this at the end and hope for the best. A lot of roots from the old tomatoes and the onions that were in there. Remember, every couple of crops or so, clean out your bed, or else it's going to get trapped and full of roots. Alright, so here's a nice old sage plant. Yeah, it didn't really look like it had been growing that well. The water I'm pulling out of these, the roots, are very, very warm. I think it might be time to cut the black plastic off of this. Picking up just a little bit too much extra heat. I think I'm going to retire this from the aquaponics, put it in the soil, and see if it's still with us next spring. Move this to the side. Probably the same destiny for these other sage plants as well. I think I've proven quite well that when cared for, aquaponic gardens can easily grow massive amounts of sage. Now these can go out to join the rest of the sage in the gnome garden. Somehow that seems a little more appropriate anyway. As you can see, I'm getting quite a mess here, but that's okay because the pill bug composter experiment seems to be working fairly well. I keep throwing stuff in the bucket and the level just kind of stays the same. I was rummaging around in there the other day, saw hundreds of little tiny roly-polies in there. Very cute. I'll do an update on that in the next couple of days. So I'm messing with the garden right now. So here is another one of those pepper plants about to be transplanted. Got a couple little offshoots there. I guess I couldn't decide if it was going to make it or not. I think with all this debris that's ending up in here, you know, there's probably part of my problem too. Might be time to get a quarter-pound of red wrigglers or something and dump them straight into the bed here, see if they can deal with it. I've nicked a few from Shock's vermiculture, but you know, last time I transferred it over I only found like 2 or 3 worms in there, so I think maybe a larger starter colony will be required. So for that I might as well just purchase my own. Alright, so let's move that last pepper here. And still, you know, not a whole lot of roots on that, but now y'all might be noticing that I'm spacing this bed out a lot more than I used to. And that is because I have come to the firm belief that square foot gardening and aquaponics were absolutely made for each other. And, you know, like I said in I think one of my blog posts not that long ago, they need the air space and they get more sunlight when they have enough space. So don't overcrowd your aquaponic bed. Sure, it can do it, but you end up with lots of problems in the long run, moving things around. Alright, now let's see, I got a turtle in the back corner. Bring him here for now. Wisteria! It's not looking like it's enjoying the current state of the nutrient deficiency in the fish tank. But then again, it's also at the very end of the grow bed. It might be getting nothing but clean water by the time it gets there. But I don't think that needs to be in the aquaponics anymore either. Find a new home for that. Strawberries are finally starting to come back, so I don't want to mess with them too bad. But I still have to figure out where I'm going to put some tomatoes in this. I'm not sure I've really got room to do that. So in the end I decided to stick a couple of those larger tomatoes just into my swirl filter for now, give them a chance to maybe develop some roots or die. And then I've got a couple of those smaller suckers here in the corner. I don't want to let them get too big because then I'm going to have more rooting issues, but I can let them get a good start. Maybe I'll transfer them out front into the southern sun so they can finish up their life after they become proper plants. But there you go. Cleaning up the aquaponic bed after the tomato incident. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.